Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV and PlayFrame and also Eureka. Hey, who's ready to do something real dangerous? Yes, we may have completed the main portion of the Eureka questline story and all that, but Eureka's not quite done with us yet. For you see, there is a raid out here. A larger raid than anything we have done previously and maybe after, I don't know for sure. But it's called the Baldesion Arsenal. It's very big and very dangerous and scary, and we're going to do it. And it's got story at the end of it, that's why. That's the main, Anyway, I believe it will start by talking with you. Master Durmin, precisely the adventurer I wished to see. There's a matter I would discuss with you. In the course of his investigations, Master Ejika made an unsettling discovery. When the Founders unearthed Eureka, it had by then forged a fearsome arsenal of weapons. The Founders made it their mission to locate these arms, which they sealed away in the headquarters' upper level, a place dubbed the Baldesion Arsenal. For years the weapons lay dormant, but the recent disturbances on the Isle may have caused them to awaken, to become sentient. If left unchecked, 'tis only a matter of time before they take hapless wielders as their vessels, thereby giving rise to new primals. In order to prevent such an outcome, we mean to dispatch a party to destroy the weapons. Now, according to Master Ejika's report, an arcane ward prevents access to the Baldesion Arsenal. However, by exploiting an anomaly in the lifestream which occurs under certain weather conditions, it is possible to teleport inside. And here's where you come in. We need you to undertake forays to destroy Eureka's weapons. Having accomplished all that you have on the Isle, we believe you best suited for this mission. That makes sense. Warning, the Baldesion Arsenal is an unimaginably punishing duty. Even the entry conditions alone will not be easily fulfilled, and emerging triumphant will require teamwork, tenacity, time, knowledge, courage, strength, and not the least of all, luck. Have you read and understood the warning? Yes, I have. Boy, you know you're in for something when the MMO puts up a, "Are you very, very sure? Click yes to agree." We can't be held responsible if you clicked yes to agree. Do you acknowledge the extreme difficulty of the Baldesion Arsenal? Yes. The Baldesion Arsenal is now accessible. In a manner of speaking. You now have access to the Baldesion Arsenal. Details such as entry conditions and the unique challenges within can be had by speaking with the Expedition Scholar. It's recommended that you first gain a full understanding of what awaits you before venturing forth. I should warn you, today's going to be a lot more play than story, I think. Again, I don't know for sure. I think most of the story's waiting at the end, naturally. But this is also just a fascinating thing that there's not much of in 14, and I'm just super curious. So, tell me what to expect. Goodness, that's a lot of information. You know what? I'll cut out all the boring stuff. Tell me of the objective. As I mentioned prior, the weapons created by Eureka are believed to have awakened in the upper level of the students' headquarters, a place dubbed the Baldesion Arsenal. Your objective is to venture in and destroy them all before they can pose a threat. Accessible only via special means, the Baldesion Arsenal is an open dungeon that can be occupied by up to 56 players, which is more than double the number of players that you would normally have on the largest raid, a 24-man. So, this is a lot of people. The dungeon is rife with fearsome foes and deadly traps, and it is recommended that you cooperate with other participants if you wish to stand a chance of success. I actually appreciate them having this written up somewhere, because otherwise I was going to have to explain it all, having not yet done it. So, this is much easier, thank you. How do we gain entry? The Baldesion Arsenal is sealed behind an arcane ward. The only way to gain entry is to exploit an anomaly in the lifestream which occurs under certain weather conditions to teleport inside. It's accessible via ethereal nodes that manifest in the Forbidden Land, Hydatos. In order to use these nodes, you must be elemental level 60 or above and have been granted a special status enhancement. Okay, tell me of the nodes. Master Ejika wrote in detail concerning the use of the anomaly in the lifestream to teleport to the Baldesion Arsenal. Please peruse his notes at your leisure. There exist two kinds of ethereal nodes, blue and red. Ethereally unstable, blue nodes can be used only by expending an etheric stabilizer. Ethereally stable, red nodes can be used by all the... This is going to be a whole lot of information y'all don't care about. I'll explain some of it as we're doing it. Now, this one is actually going to be somewhat important. Resurrection. Please be warned that the arcane ward that surrounds the Baldesion Arsenal interferes with resurrection magics. Take all care during your forays. While inside the Baldesion Arsenal, you will be subjected to a status effect that prevents resurrection by certain means. Raise effects granted via limit breaks and certain Logos actions are exempt from this restriction. Basically, they didn't give a lot of details there, but raise doesn't work in this raid. You cannot just cast raise on somebody and boom, they're back up and in the fight. No. The only way that you can be raised is by using a special Eureka-only status effect you can cast on yourself a limited number of times, which gives you like a 70% chance to auto-resurrect upon death, and that's only 70%. Or somebody else, a healer, has to use a special Eureka-only spell-type item to basically sacrifice themselves to resurrect you. So they die, but you're up. Basically, unless you came prepared or somebody else is very nice to you, you die, you're out. And there are a lot of things in here that will kill you so fast. In fact, there is one particular boss mechanic that, you know what, I won't even spoil it. We'll save that treat for later. But you get the idea. Generally, do I need this? Obtain an etheric stabilizer. Oh, I can like spend resources to get, I think other people are going to have this handled, so I won't bother. Basically, the gist is, this is a raid which requires a level of coordination well beyond most of the other content in the game. There are people who have spent years refining the strategy for how to get through this as a group and are extremely coordinated and know how to do all of it. And I'm just going to mostly be going in with a whole bunch of experienced people, 55 very experienced runners of Baldesion Arsenal, and following their instructions to the letter to not step out of line and accidentally get myself or anybody else killed. And hopefully we get through this thing. So, let me join the large group, and we will begin the process of getting ourselves into Baldesion Arsenal. One moment. All right. We are gathered, all 50-something of us, and we are rolling out. Let me try to explain what all we're doing here. So, we start all this off outside of the actual raid itself, outside of Baldesion Arsenal, because, as we have just recently learned, you can't just walk in. Nope, there's a whole process. Step 1 is getting all your teams together and going and doing this fate out in Hydatos. Fighting this boss monster, which is called Avni. We fought it a bunch of times earlier as we were leveling because it gives good XP. But the only way to enter Baldesion Arsenal is to first kill this thing. And everybody involved needs to get gold, like full gold rank on this fate in order to be eligible. Killing this monster and getting a gold rank on the fate gives you the status effect which allows you to enter Baldesion Arsenal. This raid is the most Final Fantasy XI thing. There's not a lot in Final Fantasy XIV which really tries to evoke the experience of Final Fantasy XI, but Eureka, to a limited extent, has sure done its best. And Baldesion Arsenal, most of all. Looks like everyone's about ready. And I say it evokes 11 not only because this raid is so punishing compared to all the other stuff that we are going to be doing in this playthrough, but also because so many aspects of it are inscrutable and not immediately obvious. The game does not signpost things super clearly or make stuff super clear. The way you're supposed to succeed at this is the way that folks succeeded at things in old MMOs. People kind of threw themselves at it a bunch, slowly started collectively figuring out how things worked, shared information with each other, and hang on. After this mechanic, we're going to have to either run away or move in real quick to avoid a big dangerous AO. Okay, we're going in. We're going in. We're going in. Not all of us made it. That's why I stopped the explanation. But yeah, all of the steps for getting through this raid are things which you really just have to look online at all of the shared knowledge that has been accumulated to figure out and know how to deal with. And there's something cool about that. Like, that's an aspect of old MMOs that I suspect old school MMO players quite enjoyed, that they kind of miss in MMOs today, which are much more straightforward and kind of they're self-explanatory in a lot of ways. They can still be very hard, but they're pretty easy to solve as puzzles. So I kind of love that they tucked away some of that old, hardcore, kind of more hostile design in this bit of side content, which is entirely optional. For the folks who still want a little bit of a taste of that in their 14. There we go. Okay, Avni's down, and we got us a gold star. Gold medal, technically, whatever. So now we are eligible. I should also mention, by the way, if you are watching this playthrough strictly for story, and you're not really interested in, like, combat stuff or gameplay or any of the mechanics and whatnot, Baldesion Arsenal is pretty story light. It's pretty much just combat and dungeoneering in there. So if you want to skip all that toward the actual story stuff toward the end, as always, I have timestamped this video, so you can just check the timeline and skip ahead to whatever is most interesting to you. But this is a pretty hard bit of content that not even a lot of Final Fantasy XIV players do, so I'll leave in a lot of the actual play experience on this one for the folks who are curious to see it secondhand. Anyway, now that we have defeated Avni and gotten ourselves the little buff that's going to allow us to enter Baldesion Arsenal, we can't just warp right in or anything. There's another step or two. The first thing we're going to do is find an elemental. All of the areas of Eureka have these little elementals which spawn now and then and give you very, very useful buffs that increase your experience gain and attack damage and whatnot. So before we go in to this mean raid, we're going to all get ourselves buffed with one of those. The buff won't last for the entire raid, but for the stretch we have it, it'll be very helpful. Got ourselves a little fight here, that's fine. There we are, okay. Here's the elemental. It'll give us a nice buff as soon as we get close, but there's sort of limited uses, quote-unquote, of this elemental. It's complicated. We're just waiting for more people to all gather around so we can all get it at once and make sure everyone has a chance to get the buff before we move on. As a person who did play a lot of Final Fantasy XI back in the day, it's not a game that I would ever recommend anyone go back to. It is so hostile, but there was definitely something to the level of... Sorry, I just needed to check where my portal is going to be. There is definitely something to the feeling of mastery over a game which doesn't explain itself. Over time, as you play the game and get further in and you find online communities and learn more about stuff, as you slowly gain all of that knowledge about how the world... Okay, we're going in. As you gain all that knowledge about how the world works and how the mechanics works and how to fight and get around and do things, it does feel pretty cool having that mastery and playing with other people who have it as well. And because the world was so hostile to you, and you couldn't really do anything yourself after level 10 or 11, it really did create this sense of community in the player base that was pretty unlike anything I'd experienced in other games. Unlike anything I experienced in World of Warcraft at around the same time, or Monster Hunter or any of those others. Like, we all had to stick together in order to survive and progress in that game. So you couldn't afford to really be a jerk to people, and if you did, you found yourself having a harder time finding groups. Okay, what we're doing right now, here's my little note. What we're doing right now is we are each going to need to use one of these little ethereal nodes to get inside, to teleport inside of Baldesion Arsenal. As soon as we defeated Avni, we all got the buff that is going to allow us to use these nodes, and these nodes all spawned everywhere, as you can see on the map, about 5 minutes after Avni went down. We're going to wait a little bit longer, because right now I can only get in if I'm using a specific item, like I can't remember what it's called. If we wait a few more minutes, though, these nodes are all going to turn red, and it's going to make it easier for us all to just enter then. Even just getting into the thing is complex. Hey, red. Okay. I'm going to wait until folks give me the go-ahead to actually go in. Can I do it? Okay, yes. We're going in. I am following instructions so carefully as we do this, to be careful. But welcome! Welcome to the Baldesion Arsenal. The final big, mean challenge at the end of Eureka. And yes, that is Final Fantasy XI music. All of the music in here is Final Fantasy XI music. Which is charming. Ooh. Reading. We've taken into our safekeeping twin spears of Eureka's forging. Orlasrak, the black, and Mundurg, the white. Though physically separate, the weapons are ethereally linked, and a single entity in all but form. And this other one... When brought together, the power of one amplifies that of the other, and even should they be isolated, if one comes under threat, its counterpart will immediately teleport to its aid. This is a helpful hint letting us know that this first set of bosses in here, and yes, set of bosses, I'll explain in a minute, have to be pulled at the same time and defeated around the same time too. Well, you can't defeat either of them until they're both defeated, if that makes sense. Now I am going to apply this effect to myself, Spirit of the Remembered. I'm not going to explain, well, I guess we've had a little bit of an explanation of how these Logos actions work, but hang on, let me make sure I'm doing the right thing here. And I'm going to make myself some... Just give me a second here, I'll explain in a minute. Okay, there we go. I needed to get myself all stocked up on Logos actions, specific ones. You see that I've got a set of 2 for all those over there? The one on the right is Spirit of the Remembered. That is an effect which applies a buff to myself, which makes it so that if I die in here, I have a 70% chance of re-raising automatically. Which is good, because remember, the raise spell does not work in here. Healers cannot just raise me, or anyone. If we die in here, that has big consequences. Oops, I'm supposed to be on this side. So we're kind of splitting up into our groups here, and everyone's getting their trays set up in advance, so we're all ready. But right, Logos actions. So I've gotten myself set up with a bunch of trays which have that re-raise effect so that I can increase my odds of surviving anything that accidentally kills me in here, as well as a buff that gives me more HP and damage output. But it's okay, even in the worst case scenario where I'm going through a lot of these and still dying, that's fine. We have got 3 healers in this group, Iryoku, Ellis, and Eos, who have their own set of trays with an ability called Sacrifice, which they can use to sacrifice themselves. I think we're about to start here. To sacrifice themselves to try to raise me. But they've also got that Spirit of the Remembered effect on themselves, so there's a 70% chance when they sacrifice themselves to raise me that they will re-raise and everyone will be okay. If it fails, oh, we're going. If it fails, some other healer has to then try to use their sacrifice thing to save that healer, and basically just a chain keeps going until someone succeeds. Hopefully it won't come to that. But everything is dangerous in here, even just the small, well, just trash monsters. If they get in a few stray hits, or even 1 or 2 stray hits on somebody who shouldn't be getting stray hits, squishier damage dealers, it's real easy to die in here. And if anyone does die, we're not going to try doing any raising until the fight is over, and it's safe to do so. Die, 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 die. Okay. That's not even a boss, that's just a monster. On the way in. And because these monsters are so dangerous, we're going to be trying to fight them one at a time as often as we can. Which is also a very Final Fantasy XI way of life. You pull those monsters in for a fight so carefully, one at a time. And if someone pulls in 2 or 3, it's going to get real scary, and the whole team may just die. That might be it. So this also feels somewhat familiar. Some of the monsters like these, though, we can try to clump together and burn down quick like. More reading. You guys can fight that, right? Give me a sec. It cannot be stressed enough that these spears are a single entity. So long as one persists, the other will regenerate and return from apparent destruction. If they are the same, you know what, I'm actually gonna go help out so I don't accidentally stand in the way of something super dangerous. Hello, Editor Dan from the future, here to read the rest of that one. It cannot be stressed enough that these spears are a single entity. So long as one persists, the other will regenerate and return from apparent destruction. If they are to be eliminated permanently, they must be struck down at the exact same moment. So yeah, basically tipping us off that both bosses have to be defeated in order for the fight to end. Back to past me. Baldesion Arsenal is not a place for taking risks or running off on one's lonesome. But here is going to be our first boss. The one on the other side is more white-colored. It's called Owain. This one's called Art. Okay, I think we're about ready, and let's go! I am the bearer of Orlus Rock, Spear of the Night. Together with my twin, I shall smite all trespassers. I am the bearer of Mundurg, Spear of the Morning. Standing with my twin, I shall destroy our foes. So this first boss, not too bad, only a few mechanics to worry about. And fortunately, a lot fewer these days than there used to. Okay. This is Legend Spinner, it's a very large donut AoE. Keep that in mind, it'll be important for other reasons in a bit. Also, there's Legend Carver, which is a big AoE around itself. So, run away. But yeah, a lot of these fights used to be a lot scarier when it took longer to get through them because there are a lot of mechanics we're going to be able to skip by just killing the boss a good bit faster. So, the boss has summoned a whole bunch of spears. The spears are going to imitate whatever big AoE like this the boss does. So, the boss just did a big donut AoE, now the spears are going to do it. So we need to position ourselves to be able to dodge both things. If the boss had done the big circle AoE on itself, then all of the spears would have done the same, and the only safe place to stand would have been the boss. In fact, they probably will try to do that right now. Run away. Legend Carver. That's the one where the boss does a big circle around themselves. Now all the spears are going to, which is why we're hiding way back here. Okay. You can get onto the boss too, either one's safe. This is Legendary Geas. We need to stand still, not move, until this effect on the floor goes away. Never mind, the boss is dead. If we've moved, we'd have gotten a big debuff that I think hurts, but also slows your movement a lot, and that move is immediately chased by a whole ton of AoE all over the floor, which is a lot harder to dodge if you're slowed. And apparently the folks on the other side had already defeated their boss, because ours went down the instant the HP bar drained, so hooray. And yes, the other version of the boss has their own mechanics to deal with. Kinda similar. But like, Art is sort of like the physical damage version of the boss, and Owain on the other side is the magic damage one. So they've got slightly different mechanics. Fortunately, we're all being very careful, by the way. We're hugging the wall. So you see these yellow little splotches, these circles on the floor? Those are traps. Some folks in our group with a special ability called, I think, Perception, are going to be running ahead of us as we move through here a lot of the time, using that perception ability in order to spot the traps for the rest of us. If we run into those traps, it's going to hurt, well, it's going to do a whole lot of unfortunate and very bad things that we really, really, really don't want to happen. So, knowing where those are so we can avoid them is good. Now the whole gang has gotten back together. What a good-looking group. I'm so grateful to these... Oh, we're going. So now we're going to try to isolate and burn down each one of these little trash mobs, one by one, best we can. I like that even the art in here, even the look of the space also feels more Final Fantasy XI-y. in that it's a little bit more sparse and kind of visually bland. It's got some pretty areas, but 11 is not nearly as pretty a game as 14. Mostly on account of just it being made for the PS2. An MMO built to run on the PS2. The mind boggles. Okay, I think we're just gonna take all these down at once. Yep, all right. I'm kind of standing back because I'm a little nervous about it. I'm also often setting up my little magia board more defensively than offensively. I'm making sure that the element set helps to minimize damage from anything, which is not an optimal way for a damage dealer to be going through here at all. But we've basically coordinated this entire group and our entire strategy around getting Durmin to the end. The one goal for all of us here is Durmin surviving to the end to see the story and get it on film. So I am being very, very careful. And I've done a lot of research ahead of time to make sure I don't goof up. Anyway, here's the next boss. Looks like we're about to start. I'll explain more as we go, or try. I'm gonna be very careful. O mighty Odin, forlorn hero, in thy hallowed name I shall strike at the wicked empire. So, okay. Sorry if I fail to explain mechanics adequately as we go. I'm very focused right now. But the HP bar is going down fast, and that's nice. Okay. All right, the boss is doing Thunder Call. That move basically just electrifies the exterior of the arena, so we should not touch it. It's just going to stay that way for the rest of the fight. Hooray. And there's Ame no Sakahoko. Okay, we run away. We run away very far and fast, because it's a big AoE that will kill you. And then, Whirling Santetsuken sword up. Get onto the boss. Very good. Now the boss has run outside the arena. We need to find the boss and then watch which side the sword goes to and run the other way. And also out of this danger puddle. Because that move will kill you. Case in point. Okay, we're doing all right though. By the way, I'm doing very suboptimal damage. For reasons that will make sense later, I have removed from my hotbar, literally, you know what, it can wait. Let me take this out. Far away. Okay, now we need to kill all these spears before the boss can do a big ultimate Zantetsuken move, which would be so bad. All right, that one's down. Okay, they're all gone. Good, 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 good. Kill boss. Boom, up. Don't stand in that. And, oh, good, cloud to ground. So this is going to send off a whole bunch of cascading lightning strikes from somewhere. Oh, there they are. Okay. We need to thread the needle between and hide behind here and then just wait because the boss is going to throw so many mean things at us and okay, it's dead. Thank goodness. That's the scariest part of the fight. Rip. It's okay. The healers are going to come do some sacrifices until one of them succeeds and we can get everyone back on their feet. Hey, there we go. Nice. Well, I'll leave them to get that handled while I pick up some treasure. So I was saying earlier I'd removed all of the jump abilities from my hotbar. All of the Dragoon's jump abilities, but okay, we're fighting these now. The jump abilities cause you to jump around the space a little bit from time to time as a Dragoon, which usually fine. Oh, we've got a lot of things right now. But there's some specific scenarios inside Eureka, inside Baldesion Arsenal, I should say, where jumping around might get you killed. So, to avoid the possibility of me even accidentally jumping somewhere that I shouldn't, just from muscle memory, I've removed those buttons completely. This Baldesion Arsenal is a no-fly zone. All tiny, spiky aircraft have been grounded until further notice. All that to say, I'm not doing great damage right now. That's fine. As long as I'm alive, we are all winning. Charlians, I have to stress again, what is wrong with you that you created these dolls? Gonna have to ask the twins about that later. Someone owes me an explanation. Okay. Still moving forward carefully because folks ahead are hunting for the traps. There's the trap. That's why we wait. To let the scouts find the traps. More treasure, okay. I bet I've started and then not finished at least 2 or 3 explanations and thoughts over the course of this already. Okay, so this long hallway is going to take a bit of explanation, and I still may not do justice to it. This is the most confusing part of Baldesion Arsenal to me. This is peak 11 nonsense right here. So we are in this hallway that has 6 rooms branching off of it. We're all being very careful with where we stand. We're all kind of running down the middle, and we're not using AoEs because all of these rooms have monsters in them, and if we use AoEs, those AoEs might kind of like clip through the walls and hit monsters inside the rooms and get us a lot more attention than we want. We don't want to be wiping for no good reason. Or at all, but if we gotta wipe, it should be for a good reason, right? Anyway, we're clearing the hall because what we need to do is find the rooms in here with the treasure chests that we want, but also a portal. One of these rooms has a portal, and we're gonna need to use that. Because directly ahead of here, in the next room, would be the next boss. We do not want to go fight that boss right now. That boss has a just kind of super buff on right now that would make them not impossible to kill, but extremely difficult to survive. So we don't want to do that. But in order to fix that problem for ourselves, we got to do a real weird mix of things. I think we're still looking for the portal, or maybe they found it. Hard to pay super close attention to chatter while talking. Careful. Just gonna kill this group before I try to say any more smart words or dumb words. Okay, all right. Okay, they have found the portal. This is the room. It's got traps in it. They've all got traps in them. And the scouts are doing very good work. Treasure chest is hiding back here. Don't mind if I do. Okay. Do we go in? I think we go in. My party's going in. I'm going to go in too. So, now that we found this portal and have gone in, this portal has taken us to a very similar hallway, kind of mirroring the one we were just in, on the other side of Baldesion Arsenal. Treasure. Kind of similar to the branching pathways at the start when we each went and fought a different boss. We've been teleported to the other side. The other side still has monsters and has a similar hallway with the 6 rooms branching off. And we're going to need to do some things in those rooms, and outside those rooms, and outside Baldesion Arsenal. Once we've finished killing all of these angry trash mobs, I will try to explain. And there we go. Okay. Everything's fine. So, just like before, gonna make our way through here. Kind of take care of monsters either one by one or in very small select groups to safely burn all this stuff down. I don't know if there's monsters in the side rooms yet, but there will be. Where's that one going? Doesn't matter. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, someone interrupted it. Nice. Boy, folks are really on the ball in here. That's kind of the thing. This dungeon requires so much foreknowledge that, like, the community, the folks who run Baldesion Arsenal in this game have it down to a science. They know every corner of it. It's a learned, solved raid. It's just still very punishing, especially for newcomers. So, each one of these rooms has an element associated. There's the wind room. There's the lightning, I think. My party is responsible for the wind room. Here's all 6 of them if you want to see, like, the actual layout in a way that's easier to see. So in a little bit, once we're all ready, our group will go inside the wind room. We've all got to basically separate because we're all going to have to do some fights independently in here at the same time. So we got to split into groups of like 8 or so. And we don't want to start until everyone's good and ready. Okay, we're ready to go in. We're gonna go in carefully. We're gonna tuck ourselves into this corner, just sort of in preparation. So you see this portal thing in the center? Monsters are going to spawn from here once we've triggered things to go. Things are going well so far, though. Right? I hope you're enjoying this terrified little walkthrough. But yeah, now that we've split into 6 teams, 1 team per room, once we touch the portal switch thing here in the center of a room, all of our rooms will be locked, and that little portal is going to spawn monsters, which we each need to take out in our respective room. Doing that is going to unlock our path to the next boss, but also spawn a new fate boss outside of Baldesion Arsenal, out in Hydatos. A separate team of people, 8 players, is going to be outside, ready to obliterate that thing. And it's not a pushover fight either, it's going to take him a bit, and it's very easy to die doing so. But they are going to fight that thing. Once that boss goes down, it's going to create a fresh round of portals so that those 8 players can rejoin us. It's 8 players who are in here with us. They have jumped out to go deal with that external boss fight, and they'll rejoin us as soon as they're done. But defeating that boss outside is what's going to remove the dangerous super buff from the upcoming boss, making the next fight way more doable. I don't know how people figured that out originally. That's a real weird way for a raid to work. I kind of love it, though. You could just be outside leveling in Hydatos and then see that raid pop up and be like, oh, people are inside. Oh, we're about to start. People are inside Baldesion Arsenal right now. They need my help. And you could go and join the team trying to take that boss down to help the group inside to get further in on their raid run. They could also leave. We could all, I think in theory, leave the raid to go take out the thing ourselves and then come back in. It would just take a lot longer. I'm not sure. I'm going to do as they say to do. But okay, we're starting. Portals have been activated, rooms are locked. Monsters are spawned. We must take them down. Speaking of inscrutable mechanics and this being a solved raid and all that, I actually want to give another shout out to a bunch of people, some of whom are here helping us right now. There is a group called Cafe. What does it stand for? Oh, hang on. The Crystalline Adventuring Forays and Expedition, I think. Something like that. They are a group who are dedicated entirely to running Baldesion Arsenal on the Crystal server. Pretty much every server in 14, I think, has a Discord of folks like this, like Cafe, who, for their entire purpose, there we go, is coordinating runs in Baldesion Arsenal. And providing resources for learning and knowing all the mechanics and guiding new players through, and just folks who really enjoy running this thing, who have mastered the art. We've been coordinating with them to get this BA run today happening, and a lot of them have joined us today. They're kind of helping to fill out our party, bringing a bunch of extra damage and expertise and everything. And I am so grateful. I'm so grateful to everyone here. Durmin being here, doing this right now in an episode on this channel has required so much time from so many people. I'm very, very grateful. But okay. We got some monsters that have respawned back in here on the road to the boss. Or maybe they were still here and they just, I don't know. Folks outside are still working to finish that Fate boss that's still in Hydatos. And while they do that, we are going to try to make our way through here and clear a path for them. Ooh. The defeat of its avatar weakens absolute virtue. They did it. The support team is successful. Or in the lingo of Baldesion Arsenal regulars, the soup team wiped. I need to stress again, there are people who love Eureka and have spent countless hours running around, grinding in that place and mastering this place, and they've got their whole shared language and lingo, and I think that's great. It's just a tiny little subculture of diehards within a subculture. And boy, I'm grateful to them, because it's largely those diehard weirdos who've been helping me figure out how to get Durmin through this as efficiently as possible. Champions, everyone. Okay. All right. The way is clear to the boss, and I believe we've also taken out all of the monsters which might attack the support team on their way back in, so they're all very slowly going to be trying to get into Baldesion Arsenal and run to catch up with us. So we are going to wait here, get some buffs applied to everyone, and get ready for the next fight. Honestly, I'm pretty glad for this breather. Baldesion Arsenal is stressful. It's not like the mechanics are even any harder than any other, like, boss-type content or raid content in 14. It's just way more punishing. And folks have worked so hard to get Durmin here that I do not want to waste anyone's time further by screwing up. Anyway, so we are waiting for the support folk to catch up still. Just waiting for them to scuttle down that little hallway there. Then we will fight the next boss, who is a little scary. Not the scariest one here, that'll be the last one, but absolute virtue. Oh, there they are. Here comes the team. Well done, support crew. And welcome back. Everyone's gathering over here to apply a different buff. We don't have to stand here to apply the buff. We're just all standing here to signify, hey, we do not have this buff yet. As soon as each one of us gets it, we then all head over and head over to another area so that folks can... Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, Absolute Virtue is the next boss. And they are a little scarier than the ones we've been fighting, just because they have some mechanics which will insta-kill you. Not great. Many of them are kicked off by the boss using a move called Eidos, which basically conjures a bunch of rings around its body, like bracelets and a halo and stuff, that'll either be light or dark, or kind of red. White or red. Then the boss will follow that up with one of several AoE attacks involving white and red danger puddles, and whichever color the boss has on them is going to be amplified. So for instance, if the boss gets a bunch of red darkness rings on it, and then casts a bunch of red danger puddles on the ground, before those red danger puddles go off, they're going to increase in size, like double. Or if, like, the boss casts Eidos and gets a bunch of white rings on itself, and then splits the arena in half light, half dark, both sides will damage you when they go off, but you want to be standing in the dark side because the light side's been amplified, and it's going to insta-kill you. Stuff like that, you get it. Trying to explain as much as I can before we start, just to make up for my failure to explain later. I think this boss might actually be from Final Fantasy XI as well. Heck, maybe they all are. All the research I did in advance, and I didn't look that part up. Editor me, is this boss from Final Fantasy XI? Cool, thanks. All right, we're going. Show me, by what principles art thou driven? Survival. Okay. There's the first attack, which is Meteor, which is just a raid-wide damage thing we can't avoid. Just gotta heal through that. Okay, there goes Eidos. And it's got dark rings around itself. So, dark danger puddles, those are going to double in size. Let's get away from them. There we go. So that's how it works, right? There were only... Oh, look out for that. That will kill you. Probably. So that last time there were only dark rings. Oh, here goes Eidos again. Okay, light bracelets. Stand on the dark side. We're okay. We're doing okay. And there's Eidos again. Light bracelets. Okay, now we got both white and dark. Both will kill you, but the white ones are going to double in size. Hide back here. Hide back here. Ouchies. Lost a couple on that one. It's okay, though. There's probably several safe places you could stand for that move. I'm just following the crowd on this one. Succumb to peer pressure in this sort of situation. Yep. Okay, orbs and tethers. I've been tethered to a dark orb, so I need to get out of this and then find a little white puddle to stand at. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Now I stay here until the orb hits. And then... Okay, I'm fine. Here comes another raid-wide meteor. And another one. Healers are on the ball. We're getting it. Okay. Now the boss is going to leave, drop a bunch of proximity AoEs, and then we're going to get hit with 3 of these room splitters in a row. So first, white, hide in the dark side. Next, dark, hide in the white side. And last, white, hide in the dark side. Okay, yes. Oh, boy. Scary. And it's proximity. Get out of here, 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 get out of here. And then go back in. And then, okay. It's very stressful. That little trio of impact streams is, I think, the name of the move, is definitely the scariest part for me of this fight. It's the sort of mechanic that, like, is pretty straightforward and simple in your head once you learn it, but when you're in the thick of the moment and panicking and trying to figure out, oh, which one's going to go off? What color are they? Where am I? Like, it's very easy to, in that panic, stand in the wrong place. Okay, we've got some ads now. We need to kill them so fast, because otherwise they're going to enrage and kill us all. Oh, and we've also got the orb tethers. That's good. That's good. That's a lot of things at once. Kill the wyvern. Wyvern. Do you think I have time and brain space for pronunciation right now? No. Okay, it's dead. Kill it. Yeah. Die already. There we go. Whew. 3 out of 4 down. And also some of our crew, but that's okay. The healers will attend to them. Let's get the treasure. Oop, get the treasure. Thank you. Whew. Okay. So we've been through all the complex raid stuff at this point. Now it's just kind of the run up to the boss, once everyone's all raised and ready. And what a last boss it is. Okay. Everyone's on their feet. This is a rather pretty looking last stretch. I've enjoyed seeing all the Sharlayan architecture around, peppered into these last couple expansions. Even though I haven't been to Sharlayan proper and seen that at any point, we've gotten to see lots of tastes of what they're about and how they look and all that. Okay, so we just got a last couple of ads here that we're going to fight one at a time. Very carefully. And then once they're down, there's nothing but the boss. There we go. Now there's a kind of familiar arena. Well, hello again. Some of you might be wondering, hey, didn't we fight that already? Like back in Heavensward? In that one raid? Yep, we did. This one's way, way meaner. Like, way meaner. It's Ozma, though. The secret super boss of Final Fantasy IX. The final boss of the Baldesion Arsenal. And a real scary one. We're not going in there yet because we all need to prepare. Everyone's kind of placing markers and coordinating in advance before we even enter the arena, because it's scary. I'm going to try to explain some stuff from the outside because a lot's going to happen once we start fighting this thing, and some of the mechanics are the scariest yet. So, you might remember, it's been a while though, the version of Ozma we fought back in the Heavensward days had a bunch of different moves it could throw at you, depending on what form it took. It could take the form of a sphere, it could change to being a pyramid or a square, and each one of those forms had its own little set of moves it could throw at you. This version of Ozma has an additional form, sort of a spiky star shape, and way more moves and more dangerous moves in all 4 forms. While we are preparing and coordinating out here, let me see how many moves I can explain in advance, because there's no way I'm going to be able to think straight enough to actually explain them once we're inside. So, once we're all in there, we are going to split into 3 bunches of players, each of which will be standing on one of those platforms out there, because we need to be able to spread out. Ozma has 4 different forms, each of which has different moves, like I said earlier. The first one it's going to pull out is the star form. When it does that, the first thing it's going to do is throw a big close-range AoE around itself, so we need to all move to the back of our platforms to be safe. As long as it is in star form, we also need to all make sure we stand close together at all times, because Ozma's basic attacks in star form are sort of like a stack marker type thing. So even the basic attacks, we can sort of share damage on to survive, so we need to kind of stay all in one big group while it's a star. It's also going to do a really mean thing where it throws a knockback attack at us from a spot on each one of our platforms, so we need to position carefully to not get knocked off the arena. If we fall off the arena, obviously, we die. And that's not great. And this arena apparently is pretty finicky too, like everyone's warning each other, don't try jumping across the corners or getting anywhere near the edge because the physics on these platforms are a little finicky, and you will just get sucked right off the edge if you're not careful. Anyway, when Ozma goes to cube form, we need to get close to it because the first thing it's going to do is a big, huge donut AoE around the whole area. And it's also going to throw other attacks at us that I'll try to explain at the time. If it changes into pyramid form, we need to get off of the platforms and onto the little ring outside because it's going to do a big column AoE that covers the whole, all three of those big platforms we are usually standing on. And that's no good. But the most scary thing is if it turns back into a sphere, and it's going to do that in between every other form, which is not great, because the sphere has a move called Black Hole. Really just its one move. Black Hole is the meanest thing in this whole raid, and the most punishing thing too, because as soon as it starts casting Black Hole, we need to all be standing on the little portals on our platform or on the rings. If we're not standing in those little things when Black Hole goes off, we will be sucked off the platform and dropped outside of Baldesion Arsenal back at base camp and have to start all over. So that is an insta-fail. So anytime it is changing back to a sphere, I am going to be running back and standing on that button for safety immediately. That is the biggest threat here. Even if you're dead, if you've died, and your body's just lying somewhere on the platform, and Black Hole goes off, you are getting booted out. It's an easy mechanic to dodge. It's just very, very punishing if you mess it up. Oh, also the boss is going to sometimes, actually frequently, summon copies of itself behind all of our platforms and change into one of its forms and do one of its big AoE things frequently. So we're going to have to dodge those big AoEs from behind us and simultaneously probably also be dealing with some nonsense from the main boss. There's a lot of stuff to dodge that can kill you pretty easy. It's very easy to fall off. The boss has moves that may knock you around to make you fall off. And if you botch any of those things, or just aren't standing in the right place, the boss may decide, hey, guess what? You're not in Baldesion Arsenal anymore. Ha. Isn't that fun? Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Hey, this music is kind of stressful just to listen to. And yes, you are correct. This is a sort of boss theme from Final Fantasy XI as well. Oh, Lionel has jumped down in order to demonstrate sort of where the safe place to stand is for a bunch of mechanics. A similar spot has been marked on all of our platforms down there for each group. I'm going to be in the B group. And we're going. Very carefully walking to B platform, not getting anywhere near an edge and definitely not trying to ever cut a corner on these platforms because they finicky. The other markers on this platform, like the little one kind of closest to camera here and the two further away, are signifying where we need to drop big meteor AoEs if we get targeted with those, because they need to not be overlapping and touching. That move can come out during a couple of different forms. I think star form and one other one, I can't remember. There's a lot to focus on in this fight, and this is going to be a test for all of us. Me, for trying to survive, and if I die, it's going to be a very stressful test for everyone else in the group, because, like with the rest of the bosses, as we fought them, if I died, that's fine. They can leave me dead, they can finish the boss off, and then they can try to raise me like they have been for anyone else who's gone down, and that's fine. If I die in this, they need to raise me instantly because eventually Ozma's going to change back into a sphere and use Black Hole and boot me out, and we'll have to start all of this over. So if that happens, if I go down or fall off or anything like that, all of the healers in my party or whatever party I'm closest to are going to be trying to use that sacrifice move as fast as possible to get me on my feet quickly. There are so many healers in here with that sacrifice move ready to go if I go down, which is very flattering. it is my aim to ensure that all of this preparation on everyone's part to revive me will have been redundant and unnecessary. I have spent hours studying this raid and the mechanics on all the bosses. But it's about time to go. Here we go! Okay, start doing damage. Watch for it to change form. And here it goes. Okay, it's changing into a star. Get away from it. Shun the star. Okay, now get back in, but stay close together, because every auto attack it does on anyone needs to get shared with the group. Oh, okay, shooting star. We're gonna get a knockback from this center thing. We need to stand right here. Ugh. I hate that so much. I hate that move so much. You need to be standing, like, right next to that little blue portal thing. Right in front of it, as close as you can. And it's gonna knock you, like, all the way to the far edge. It's so stressful. Oh, it's changing again. Oh, sphere. Okay, black hole. Stay on the button. We're on the button. We're on the button. We're okay. And you can leave the button pretty quickly after it starts casting, because you're safe, technically. But that feels very scary, so I think I'll be staying on for... Oh, okay, we got copies. Copies are here. And they're changing into cubes. Okay, get close to the cube. Donut AoE. Okay. Now go back. All right. The main one's not doing anything right now, thank goodness. They might do things at the same time sometimes, and that's bad. Manageable, just scary, you know? Oh, copies. Copies turning into cubes. Okay, get close to it, get close to it. And the main one is changing into what? Oh, they're also changing into a cube. Get close, get close. All right, stay stacked up for this. This move, Holy, it's a stack marker, but it also has a very slight knockback from the boss, so you just want to be careful you're not standing near an edge. And also, we want to be standing apart from the main tank right now, because the main tanks are getting zapped with a big column thing. That would be pretty devastating for the rest of us, so we're trying to stand kind of in this front right corner. That's where I want to be most times, when I'm not dodging a mechanic. So far, so good, though. Oh, copies. Copies are here. And doing... What are they doing? They're a pyramid. Get off. Get off. Get off. Okay. That's so stressful. Okay, and sphere, black hole. Stand on the button. Someone needs to be on all of these buttons, by the way. You can't just have everybody in the group run back to the one on your platform. If someone's not standing, if there's not somebody standing on every single button, including the buttons that are out there on the rings in between each one of these platforms, then we all get thrown out. Okay, there's copies. Star, spiky, stay away from it. And the center one is turning into... also star, so we need to run away now. Okay. But we need to stay close together. Also, the meteor things. Oh, I've been targeted. Okay, okay, okay. Take it to the back corner, take it to the back corner, take it to the back corner. And then... Okay, it's here. I should have probably moved a little faster, but that's fine. Now also, the knockback. Okay. Oh, and there's ads too. Right, the meteors also leave ads for us. I hate this orb. Oh, there's copies. Okay, there's copies, but also the knockback. Yeah. Fortunately, the copies were stars. If the copies were like cubes or something, we'd need to get knocked back to the other side of the platform, and that's just more than I'm prepared to deal with right now. Ugh. Oh, wait, black hole. Right, black hole. Sphere. Scary ball. Okay, copies. And stars. Okay, stay away from the stars. And pyramid. Okay, get off the platform. Get back on the platform. Meteors. Meteors. Take it away. Take it out here. Okay. Now start coming back. And Ellis just used a white mage move called Rescue on me. That's kind of them. I think I was staying a little bit too long out there and was going to take unneeded damage from that meteor from not moving fast enough, so they yanked me back to the group. Okay, copies are being stars. Stay up front. There's holy. Stack up. And now it's gonna be orb. It's an orb again, right. Back to button. Stand on button. We're so close to winning. Kill it. Okay, copies. Copies are becoming cube. Stand next to cube. Ozma also cube. Stand next to cube. Okay. We've seen everything at this point. It's just about not screwing it up. Here comes Holy. Slight knockback, which should be fine. We're positioned for that. Oh, it's so close to dead. Please die. Trouble me no more. Angry ball. Copies are here. And becoming pyramids. We need to get off the platform. Quick. But also stack up and be ready for that knockback. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And it's done! We've killed it! We did it! Oh, goodness. Hooray! I'm stressed, but hooray! The Baldesion Arsenal's complete! Oh boy. Careful. I mean, it's fine now. If I fell off now, I think I'd just respawn at the entrance, but... Oh boy. Good job, all of you. Excellent job, in fact. What a good squad. What a good bunch. You all did great. Celebratory fireworks. Thank you for seeing me through this. You all did phenomenally getting me through this. We'll all celebrate outside later. For now, I need to get some tea so badly, and then also see the story at the end of all this. Oh boy. What a relief. I've been so tense for the last hour and a half. You truly did it. To achieve what you did requires uncommon strength, and no small amount of foolhardiness. That is somewhat true. Let me figure out how to get this off of my head. Okay, there we go. That took a weirdly long time to figure out how to do. I feel silly. Anyway, Kryl, thank you for waiting. So you've done it. Destroyed all of Eureka's unholy creations. Excellent work, Durmin. What brings us here? In short, we have a plan. An idea occurred to me at the Waking Sands, you see, and I had returned to the Isle to discuss it with Eureka. While promising, it was contingent upon the success of your mission. I am pleased to see that you didn't squander my efforts to send you to the upper level. So it is as we'd had deduced. The weapons had gained sentience owing to their awakening as primals. Tell me, adventurer, if Eureka were destroyed, what do you suppose would become of its ether? I don't know. To spare you Eureka's riddling, ordinarily it would return to the ethereal realm, but this is not the case when the weapons are near. Nay, being primals in essence, they would be quick to absorb such untethered ether. Aye, and thus were the weapons an impediment to the plan. I'd conceived of a number of methods to defeat Eureka without the need to sacrifice my life. The most promising of these involves the use of teleportation. In the moments before Eureka drains me of all my ether, I would retreat into the lifestream to safely emerge after the primal's demise. However, all it takes is one of Eureka's voracious weapons to cause the plan to go awry. For even should its maker cease to exist, there's a high probability that it would consume my ether ere I can make good my escape. Lest you wonder, my idea was based on Y'shtola's use of flow to flee into the lifestream. I put it to Eureka, but of course he'd already considered it and explained to me this caveat. But thanks to you, adventurer, the weapons are no more. Naught remains to hinder the execution of the plan. Indeed. We may now defeat Eureka while ensuring Eureka's safety. I shall stand at the ready to deal with the unforeseen. Well, I suppose your assistance would be better than none at all. I'm in your hands, Kryl. Yay. Durmin looked how I feel. Phew. Though the risk was small, I couldn't help but feel nervous. On that, we are in agreement. I must say, I'm a little tired. Let us return to camp then. I dare say you've earned a good rest. We'll go on ahead. Come and see us after you've made your own way back. I will. Whew. Boy. Seeing that cutscene took months of work. By dozens of people. Okay, let's go. And here we are. Rainy again. All of the Isle's woes are resolved. I do not expect we'll require further assistance from you. I certainly hope not. 'Twas a long and arduous road, for you not least of all, but we finally did it. We defeated Eureka. If truth be told, I did not expect that you could rally so many comrades and destroy all of the weapons. You are a paragon of your kind, adventurer. Should the opportunity arise, I shall look forward to depending on you again. Well, I do not rightly recall a time when Eureka admitted to depending on anyone. You may consider that an honor, Durmin. Now then, as much as I'd like to linger and savor our success, I do have other responsibilities. I shall be on my way. Thank you, my friend, for everything. Take care, Eureka. You too, Cryo. You've got to be our most tsundere friend yet. Allow me to thank you as well. None of this would have been possible without you. Should your path ever lead you back to this isle, know that you will always be welcome here. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm never setting foot here again, but it's really kind of you to offer. We've done it. Wow, that's a relief. Whew, boy. Well, I'd wrap up, but I think there's actually a bit of a celebration waiting for us. And here we are. Here's all the people gathered to celebrate successful orb defeat. By the way, as a reward for defeating the orb, you do get the orb to ride, which is pretty nice. And is enough to incentivize some people to go through all that, even if they don't want to see the story thing. Oh, boy. We did it. I would like to give several special thanks here. First of all, a big thanks to everybody in the Dantalis Theater Company, and outside it as well, who joined for Baldesion Arsenal, and also for Eureka. We all spent a lot of time grinding and preparing, and being online and ready at specific times in order to get all of this recorded, and I appreciate that immensely. Thank you all so much for making time. Thank you also, again, to the folks at Cafe for helping us out with this, and even joining in for the Baldesion Arsenal run. But most of all, I would like to give an extra big thank you, in particular, to these 6 right here. This particular bunch of players have basically been my Eureka brain trust. Months ago, when I'd first got the wild idea in my head to run Durmin through Eureka and actually include that in this story mode playthrough, these are the bunch of folks that I reached out to asking, hey, hypothetically, if we were to try doing this, what's the most optimal, fast, efficient way to do it? And ever since then, these 6 have coordinated and planned and figured out exactly how to do this as quickly as possible. They got everyone organized for our grinding sessions. They figured out all of our grinding methods. They coordinated everybody while we were grinding, trying to keep everything going smoothly and optimally and quickly. These, as much time as I have spent behind the scenes trying to make this little stretch of episodes happen, these folks spent even more. And I cannot say enough how very grateful I am to them for that. It really means a lot. Thank you all so much. But that's it. We did it, everyone. Eureka complete. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this very wild side story. I will see you next time for something very else. Take care until then, and goodbye!